Right. Looks like we got our guest here. So, can everybody hear me? Wave, are you here?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, cool. I think it's already 3 minutes later. Let's just get started. So, Thanks again for joining us tonight. So, hello, everybody. For the course of the day, it's our 268th episode. It's been running this for a long time. So, I'm your host tonight, Justin. So, as we all know, the internet today has too much data and it's overwhelming for users. So for any search query, there are millions of web pages as results, and that's just too much information. There's a lot of redundancy, outdated data, and spam. Users can possibly need or digest so much data all at once. So simply throwing endless information at a user isn't helpful at all. People end up wasting a lot of time just organizing and extracting useful knowledge from all the clutter. And that is exactly what the current search engines are doing, listing all information rather than helping organize it. It's like a bookstore without any categorization. Readers have to find everything themselves. But with the rapid growth of AI, Web2 search engines are, kind of outdated. What should an ideal search engine and the Web3 era look like? The answer is actually simple, according to our guest tonight, the adept. Turn chaotic information into structured knowledge. Expand data coverage into, to include Web3, the deep web, and other sources usually ignored by traditional search engines. Web3's framework allows search engines to tap into more data and overall needs. And Web3 revolutionizes how backend data is stored. Data in Web3 is well structured and machine readable, so Web3 is ideal for AI. Innovative search engines should leverage Web3 and AI to provide users more relevant results and help them make smarter choices. So without further ado, in this episode, we will explore Adele, a Web3 search engine. And we are very honored to have Wei, the co-founder of Adele, to introduce to us the charm of the project they're working on. So hello, Wei, it's great to have you tonight. And how about we start off introducing yourself a little bit to our audience? And we've heard that you previously worked for Google as an engineer.
Right.
So what brought you to the Web3 industry? I believe there must be a story behind this.
Right. Thank you for inviting me today. My name is Wei. I'm the founder of ADOT. I'm a Google engineer. So, first, but it is a purpose changing for Web3. So first to build a nice index for all the Web3 data and content, and make it open accessible to every developer use it. So it's something like Google for Web3, but with open release and open technology for all developers. So it can be used as an entry point of Web3 for users, and it easily finds any Web3 content, knowing where the content is all from. And also it can be used as a helpful tool by developers to organize and fetch Web3 content and then in anywhere you want. So that's what it does. For myself, I built to Google. I have been doing two studies for one decade. So when I work at Google and work on other projects, I felt that it was, excuse me, some noise from here. Can you hear me or show where the
I think you are a little bit cutting off, like maybe there's an network issues. Would you like, I don't know, because your voice is like cutting off from time to time. So it's like try another Wi-Fi or switch or connection. Yeah, to improve the quality.
This is switch Wi-Fi.
Okay, sure.
Is it better now?
It is better. Would you like to speak, like continue your conversation like just we had?
Okay. So when I look at and I worked on other such as projects, I felt that it was hard to make changes, big changes to existing search engines. And also it's almost impossible to create another, Web2 search engine. Yeah, that's something I felt I struggled at. Sorry, I heard audience saying that there's still noises. I'm not sure. Justine, sorry. You can hear me well?
Still a little bit struggling there of the connection, so I'm not sure if you can improve that a little bit because maybe it's the network connection is not stable there.
Right, it's not stable. Just let me switch to another switch to Wi-Fi again.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Well, so probably we can just come back to adult because just now probably there's some network issues. We want to bring it back to the topic tonight. We talked about the project, very wonderful project you're building right now. So could you give us like a closer look at the project you're building so that maybe we can know it better and how it differs from other like conventional search engines?
Yeah, let's see now.
Seems like we still have a little jitter here. Can you hear me, Adele?
Yes, I can hear you, Justine.
Oh, this time it sounds a little bit better. So yes,
Okay.
let's come back to the question. So can you give us a closer look at the project you're building so that we probably can understand the project a little bit more
Sure.
and how it differs from other traditional search engines?
Sure. Yeah, just interrupt me if you cannot hear me well. Because I'm not sure whether
This time,
yeah.
it's definitely better. It's definitely better. We can hear a lot.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, I will continue. I talked about my experience at Google because the reason I joined Web3 is that I feel Web2 search engine is very difficult to radically change that to make it better. So in the year, actually last year, Web3 attracted a lot of attentions, because of NFT, metaverse, and other dApps. So at that time, I decided to join Web3 because I talk with developers. My feeling is that Web3 is very similar to the internet in the year of 2000 because it's open source. It is with a lot of enthusiastic users and developers, and it has gone beyond DeFi. It has GameFi, it has NFT, it has the Web3 social. So it's like in the year 2000, there are a lot of types of websites like shopping, social, those stuff. So at this stage, Web3, I feel that Web3 needs its own search engine because Google played a very important role in Web2. So Web3 needs its own search engine. So that's why last year I just came to the field. I finished the fundraising and started developing. That's actually my story. And later I can share what we want to do, why Web3 needs its own search engine, and how it differs from the Web2 search engine.
Yeah, cool, got it. Yeah, I totally agree. It's just like like what internet this industry has been experienced back in 2000, the year of 2000. I totally agree. There was a lot of things similar to what happened before, like 2 decades ago. So let's moving on to talking a little bit more Okay, so can we just move on? Like, I totally agree with the terms you said that it's like 2000, the year of 2000, just like what happened like 2 decades ago. And exactly, I used to tell my friends the same story. It's just like what happened to the internet 2 decades ago. So what will happen in 20 years from now might be the kind of future, the kind of the situation you receive right now about the internet. That's something what happened to Web3 industry. So probably so for that. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the project you're building, Adopt. So,
Sure.
Any details you'd like to share with us, like how it differs from other search engines, and why you think it is possible that you build this project?
Sure. Yeah, I think before I talk about the features of ADOT. I think the first thing is that we need to know that why Web3, Web2 search engine are outdated, and what are the problems in Web2 search engine. I think that's very important, because if we know what's the problem we want to solve, and it's easy to come up with the solution. I think first of all, I think one of the biggest problem is that the Web2 search engine have not changed much. Because if you look at Google in the year 2000, 2003, with Google today, it almost didn't change. Because the reason is not because Web2 search engines are already perfect. They are not. Because ChatGPT already reminded us that we should have better way, to look for information. The reason is that Web2 search engine have shaped the internet in a way that new search engines are very hard to compete with them. So that's a problem. So Web3 is different. Web3 is open again. It does not have giants which dominate the domain. And also Web3 is a better playground for new technologies like AI. Because Web3 data is more organized and structured. So we cannot rely on the Web2 to the search engine to solve all to help Web3 developers to organize the data. So Web3 search engine need to play that role in the Web3 ecosystem. So that's the first problem. The Web2 search engine are outdated. The second problem is right, and the second problem is also big, because the Web2 search engine actually they betrayed the open spirit of internet, because the internet was open, and all the Web2 data they get all the data from other websites. All the Web2 search engine they crawl the data, they let user use the data. But it's very interesting that although they are based on the open ecosystem, they are closed. All the Web2 search engines, they are closed. They have closed index, they have closed algorithm, they have closed user data, and they have closed ad system. So a closed ecosystem, a closed system, it can benefit the giants to make more money, but it cannot. It's actually hurting the whole industry. Think it that way. So if one day Google and Bing they decided to open their index to all the developers, then all the Web2 developers can save billions of dollars by directly actually fetching media data instead of doing a lot of redundant work. And if the Web2 search engine they distribute their ads revenue to the users who contribute the click data and to developers who contribute the content, then more developers will thrive, and small Web2 developers will not struggle like what they do today. So that's a big problem. So that's why in the Web3 search engine, its stuff need to be open. Its data and its technology need to be open. That will benefit all the developers. And also the third problem is that the Web2 search engine, they are not friendly to users. Because because as a user, you always need to, to interpret what you think into that search box and use the machine language. Like you need to input keywords and to find like millions of web pages and read those web pages to get what knowledge or information they need. A user cannot read those, those millions of web pages. What users really need is knowledge and is information help them to make decisions. So that's especially in today, with the technology of AI, the goal of search engine has changed. So it needs to provide users. It actually needs to provide users actionable information or actionable knowledge that can assist the users to make decisions to solve their problems. So the goal has changed, but search engine is still, forced user to use it in the old way. So it's not friendly to use at all. So that's the I think the major problems in Web2 search engine.
Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah. I get it. So previously I didn't thought that using those kind of prompt search engines was a problem. It was not until like recently the new Bing released like its version, in combination with AI with GPT-4, that I realized that search engine can be used in that way. I thought like the industry of search engines might be turning to a new era, and then I saw ADOT, the project you're building. You're combining AI and Web3 technologies all together, and you're bringing new possibilities to this industry. Probably not many of us have known, but I think in the coming future we will see. So that's very interesting. You highlight some problems that we are facing every day, but we've been struggling with this kind of situation for decades, not just like 1 or 2 years. But the situation has been going on and on for decades, and it hasn't changed much ever since like Google has dominated this market, this kind of market, and it's been like a monopoly this whole time. So yeah, we're finally, with the introduce of AI and Web3 technologies, we're seeing some kind of a certain area, a certain threshold that we might hop over. We might get into a new era. Cool. So let's talk about some practical results of some like use cases. Could you share with us a little bit more about this part, like how we can use Adele to what kind of things?
Sure. I will give a brief introduction of what results we can provide. We're still developing, but we are already open up to some alpha testers. The first product we have is a Web3 universal search engine. Universal search engine meaning it covers all the Web3 data. Because if we think about Web3 content, it majorly have 3 parts. One part is the on-chain data, the blockchain data, like the NFTs, Ethereum, and those stuff. The second part is content stored on the decentralized storage. For example, the Web3 social lands podcast, they are stored on the IPFS, Archive. Those are the open data storage. That's the second part. The third part is data on the centralized server. For example, some app they may not put their data to the open storage, but they have website that open to the user. And there are some also Web2 website which have Web3 data, like the Twitter that talk about Web3, or the YouTube that talk about Web3. So these are the 3 major sources we are covering. Right now, we already complete that. We already have the Ethereum data. We already have the Archive data. We already have the Twitter, YouTube, and also we will add Discord data and some news data. So when user input a query in our search engine, for example, if you have some NFTs, you input the address of the NFT or the description of the NFT. We will return all the data that talk about this. We will return the transaction data, that's on-chain data about this NFT, for example, about the associated NFT. We can also return, the results will also have those the social Web3 social content which discuss that. For example, dance, podcast, Twitter. That's a result list. We also have some aggregated data. For example, how many users are talking about this NFT, and how many think positive about them, how many think negative about it, and what's the progress of this project, and whether there are some big celebrities talk about this, or whether there are some other NFTs that use a talk when they talk about this Azuki. So that's a search engine we have, but that's just the current status. Right now we are integrating some AI to better organize the results. For example, if you want to, if you think you're a new Web3 user, you want to buy an NFT, in the future the AI will first recommend the most discussed NFTs in all Web3 articles. That's what we already have. Then you also, after the user select an NFT project, such as Azuki or some other NFT, the engine can list all the progress of Azuki team based on their Discord and Medium articles, and also user opinions on Twitter, and where the NFTs are used in other places or other dApps. And after user decide to buy that, the system should be able to compare the dApps which can support the transaction, and the user can directly buy that from the engine. So that's our future step. That's the first app we have. The second tool we have is for the developers. Right now we already have a developer tools for developers to fetch any Web3 content. So they can, for example, if you are a Web3 social developer, you want to aggregate all the Web3 social content, you can just use that tool to write some script. Then you can say, okay, just fetch all the data with social tag. Then that can be returned to you. Then you can use our default search engine, or you can customize search engine, and that will generate a search API. You can directly put that API to your search box, or put the popular content into your homepage. So that's developer tools. Also, for that tool, we also make that more and more powerful. We allow that the developers not only fulfill but to retrieve the results. They will also be able to apply AI to label those results. For example, if I'm the developer, the Miro, I want to label all my articles. I want to categorize them. I want to put sentiment analysis label to them. I can just use a search engine to filter the Medium articles, and then just click one button. The AI will read those articles, add the label in the way you want, and that data can be right into our database, and which will be decentralized later. And those labels you add can be used by your dApp. They can also be used for other dApps, because all those labels will be open. So that's the two products we have, and also our future plan for those two products.
Well, it sounds very cool, because at the beginning I thought it was just in the search engine, like combined with a lot of other features. First, they added the feature of as a blockchain explorer, and also have the feature. It also has social features, and then you also introduced the developer tools, and with the introduction of AI, the search engine, ADAL is capable of doing a lot of things the way you want, and you can also use the data for the open construction. That's a very cool. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to use it myself. So, yeah, you mentioned that some of the things you already mentioned in previous answers. So, could you in a whole, let's look at it from a whole picture. What's ADAL's roadmap, and what are your current stage, the current stage you're at? So, would you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Our major roadmap has two parts. One part is the to develop a search engine that has a very good user experience. That's this year's task. And for next year, the task will be to decentralize the search engine and make users and developers be able to contribute to this search engine. So right now, we already have this search engine ready. We are gradually open up to some testers. So right now we already cover the Ethereum data. We already cover the Aave, the decentralized data. We already cover the Twitter and some other centralized data. So the demo, not the demo, the alpha version is already ready. So that's our current status. In this year's Q2, we will expand that to more storage, more data. Actually, in Q2 and Q3, we want to index a very big portion of Web3 data, because right now even for us already we have a very large database. We don't know how big the Web3 data is, because that's in everywhere. So in Q3, we wish that we could cover a big portion of Web3, and we will build the biggest index in the whole industry. And that will also have the cross-chain data. So that those data will be, we will publish some very powerful tools for developers to customize, to fetch the data and to organize the data in the way they want. And also we will launch our own full-purpose Web3 search engine with Apply AI in Q3. So that's our Q3 task. The Q4 goal is that we will launch an open search platform which allows the developers to customize their search engine or to develop their own recommendation engines or their aggregation data. It's like they not only have the data available, they will also have a lot of technology module. They will have AI module to they can just label that. They can just say, I want to customize that. I want to put this parts here, this parts here. So everybody can develop their own search engine. Everybody can develop their own recommendation engine. That's at the end of this year. And next year in 2024, for the product, actually we will design the decentralized search protocols, so that everybody can contribute to the data technology. For example, as a developer, you can contribute your technology, you can contribute your content created on your platform. Users, you can contribute your user data, or you can help us to label some data. So this decentralized search engine, it will do a lot of things that the centralized search engine cannot do. So that's our goal next year. But that's very complicated. There are a lot of things to design. So we'll put that to the next year.
Oh, cool. The goal sounds very promising because quarter after quarter, it seems like you're steadily getting some momentum, and I was really looking forward to that because I heard a lot of interesting points, especially it seems like everyone can be part of the development. Can get involved in the development of your ADOT. Everyone can get benefited. Can be benefited from your search engines. This is very cool. Right. So we still have the final question. We are very curious because maybe some of us are developers. They are developers in some traditional industry, like in Web2 or IT industry. Some of them might be familiar with blockchain development. So maybe some of them with a little bit, Python or programming skills. They're curious about building on top of ADOTs. So how can those different types of developers participating in ADOT and build their own dApps on top of it?
Right. We're also interested to bring in more developers to help build the Web3, the real Web3 search engine for the whole industry. So basically speaking, search engines, it actually essentially has four parts. The first part is raw data. how you can collect all the Web3 data. That's the first part. The second part is parsing and labeling the data. How I can process data in a way that can be used. And the third part is index the data to change the structure of data to make that to be searchable. That's the third part. The last part is just organize the data based on user needs, how to develop the dApps to reorganize this data. So that's the four parts. Actually, both the users and developers, they can contribute in every step. I will explain that one by one. So in the first step, the data crawling step, the goal is to collect as much data as possible. So if if you are a user, you can contribute your user behavior data, for which you can install a Chrome extension on your computer. You can upload your all the click data, all the like browsing data to ADOS that can be used by others. And as a developer, you can contribute either contribute your content data, for example, the data that's created on your platform, or you can host a Web3 crawler node to run our program to automatically collect Web3 content. That's in the first step. In the second step, the parsing and labeling step, the user and developers, they can develop their own code to parse the data. For example, if I was AI companies, I can contribute my AI modules. You can read every Web3 article and do some AI labeling or add some embeddings to each article, so that those embeddings can be used by others for their recommendation system or some other AI systems. That's the second part. The third part is index data to just reorganize the data in a way that can be used in serving time. In this step, the developers or users, they can use their computers to host an index server. You can receive the query, the serving time request from the user and return responses. That's the second step. The third step. And the last step is that's very interesting, because the last step is how to build the app, reorganize the data, and build the app usable for the users. So as a developer, you can contribute your technology. For example, if you are familiar with search, you can see I can write a search algorithm which defines how to rank those results. Or you can if you were advertising company, you can bring in some advertisers. And if you are a user, you can say, okay, I can contribute my clicks so that it can, when I click on any articles, that article becomes more and more popular, so that more and more users can see that articles. So in all the four steps, everybody can contribute that. But definitely, when they contribute any data, they will have their own, they will have the revenue or some tokens rewarded for that. Because our main thinking is that when the whole Web3 have some valuable outcome, that value should be contributed to everybody who has contribution to that. For example, if a user search for an NFT, he sees some new articles. After reading new articles, it goes to OpenSea to buy that NFT. So OpenSea some marketplaces already done that. They get a split of their revenue and reward that to whatever platform would bring in the users. So that revenue should go to Miro, because Miro, the Miro articles bring users to OpenSea. That revenue should also go to the search engines or search technology, whoever contributes the search technologies. That revenue should also go to some users who contribute the user data, who said, okay, this article is is more useful, we recommend those articles. So that's in generally speaking, like if no matter which step you contribute the data or technology, our system will remember that. Our system and also will track back like who has contributed what on the purchase step, and whenever there are some the marketplace or some other exchange platform, they split some revenues. We will use some algorithm to split that to whoever contributed to that behavior.
Oh, cool. Yeah, awesome. That's very, very nice. So the concept of decentralized search engines is rather new, because for me, I didn't hear that, until I met ADOT. There have been, concepts like going viral, like decentralized storage and decentralized computing and, stuff like that. And then there's DeFi and a lot of stuff are going on, but decentralized storage, decentralized search engines was rather new. But after hearing what you said, what you just shared with us, it's very detailed, very clear, and I kind of feel like it's kind of interesting to me, because no matter you're a developer or you're a user, you always find your way to contribute to the construction, to the development of the ADOT. It's just like the Wikipedia, everyone can contribute their own part, can contribute their knowledge, may it be some development or some comments, or even to contribute your own sources to the search engines to make it be more responsive, to be more useful to other customers and users. Yeah, that sounds very cool, very clear. It kind of meets the spirit of Web3. It's running by a community and doing some decentralized project that can benefit the entire ecosystem. That sounds really, really cool. So yeah, thank you so much. That's all the time we have for today. And thank you, Wayne, for joining us this episode. And thank you everyone joining this episode for the day about Adopt. If you're interested, please make sure you follow their channel. You follow their. You can go to their website, try and give a little shot on their website and see how ADOT is developing, and you can follow them up. And yeah, this is a very cool and very fun project. Maybe they can be successful one day, and we're all looking forward to that. So to summarize, for some of our newcomers, they didn't follow us the whole way. So ADOT is transforming how we search and access information on the internet. There's too much information I can't cover, in a summary. But it is expanding data coverage to the whole Web3, the deep web, and other utilized resources by leveraging AI and Web3 capabilities. ADOT aims to turn chaotic data into structured knowledge and provide more personalized search results. And there's much more. You have to find out on their website. So Web3 opens up new possibilities for search and discovery. ADOT is poised to take advantage of this opportunity and build an innovative search experience for users. And I'm personally excited to see how ADOT will continue evolving to meet our needs in this new data era. So thanks again, everyone, for participation today. So please make sure to join us for the next episode of Course Open Day. We have more exciting Web3 project technologies to explore together. And this is Justin signing off. Stay curious and keep learning. Goodbye. Thanks again, Wei. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, bye.